Hello and welcome to Express 24/7. My name is Uwais Mangalwala and today we have with us Shayekh Arif Hussein, who is the founder of Al-Mahdi Institute in Birmingham. Sheikh Saab's major areas of interest are Islamic law, philosophy and theosophy. He's been associated with teaching the Quran, the Hadith, fiqh and Islamic philosophy since 1994. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
When I was introduced to you, I was told that you are a spiritual scholar. Now, I've heard of Islamic scholars, religious scholars, academic scholars. What is a spiritual scholar? How do you define that?
I don't think there is much within any designation, but if there is anything to be said, I suppose we can say that using the best of human learning, and especially from the Islamic sources, and then through that to transcend the limitations of a human being through culture and geography, and go beyond that to arrive at the fullness of human existence and to try and emulate the divine, then that would be somewhere towards understanding a spiritual scholar.
Now, I was told that your main work is on the existence of religion itself. That is quite a wide topic. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Well, just to narrow down on the question and to talk about the nature of religion in the broadest sense, yes, I do believe that human religion is one religion. It's one truth that has been unfolding and has acquired many expressions through the evolutionary growth process of human beings. And in that sense, we look at religion as human divine construct to bring about the fullness of human existence.
There are people who believe that religion is not necessary because all humans can devise a code of life for themselves, and there are some basic rules of goods and bad. There are some basic rules of what is right and what is wrong, and those rules don't need religion.
Human understanding of right and wrong is in actual fact the truest religion. And when we look at Islam, we find it a most comprehensive and a universal expression of the good found at our human level. However, we cannot narrow religions down to mere moral values, but religion also provides us insight into human existence per se, human psychology, the harmony between the human mind and the finer human spirit, the relation of a human being with other human beings, the relation of a human being with nature, the relation of human being with God. Religion gives insights into a metaphysical model and an appropriate understanding where everything makes sense within itself. Religion then gives an insight into how the human individual, given that he is multifaceted, works within his own self. So here there is a role that religion plays which is undeniable. For example, not only in terms of religious acts, in terms of the substances that we consume, in terms of our mundane everyday practices, religion provides us insights into what is the most appropriate way of existence. Now, when religion like Islam came to an Arabian community, it also regulated their social lives and modified their social conventions. Islam did not introduce conventions afresh. It already came in a context. The Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam either modified them, replaced them, or developed them, or endorsed them. Now here it is true, and I do agree with the modern thinking, that the conventional side of law can maybe be reinvestigated from the primary ethos of the Quran. However, to say that we can replace religious practices like the personal acts of devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this would be foolhardy and foolish to say. Like prayers, for example, or going to Mecca to do Hajj, these cannot be done away with. At other times, the religion sets social norms like the law of inheritance, for example, or taxation in the form of zakat and otherwise. These, of course, the human mind can think on these afresh. So religion provides insights, and the mind, in accordance with the developing world, can think independently, provided that the primary principles of righteousness as arrived at by the human condition and by religion is kept in mind.
Okay.
And of course, religions give us a sense of righteousness and morality that sometimes may not occur to us as human beings. We need to be mindful of that as well.
Okay, we'll take a very short break over here. When we come back, we'll talk to Sheikh Saab about his organization, the Al-Mahdi Research Institute, and also about the role that religion plays in our life. Stay tuned. Welcome back, viewers. Sheikh Saab, can you tell us about your organization, the Al-Mahdi Institute?
The Al-Mahdi Institute was established with two main functions. It has two wings, one of education and the other one of community service. In terms of education, we provide Islamic studies to students who have finished their undergraduate, and they study with us from 3 to 4 years and beyond, and then subsequently they go on to do their doctorates at universities within the UK, and some even go on to North America. The method of teaching is that we benefit from both the noble traditions, the Eastern traditions and the Western tradition, the Eastern grounding and scrutiny, and the modern philosophy of education and objective methodology of the West. In education also, we have a department for looking into modern issues, and it's a department of research where the modern debates are taken on board, and we see how Islam and other faiths can contribute to these discussions. For example, the rights of women, and studies in the challenges that technology is posing in the field of our understanding, in the area of understanding of life and death, issues of abortion and euthanasia, so on and so forth.
Now, I was studying the objectives of your institute as stated on your website, and one point which was stated over there was that ensuring better access to Islamic education and research. Now, what sort of access do you think is not available to students in conventional Islamic universities?
The first thing is the host of literature that is not there. For example, if you are in the West, we don't get the fullness of our resources that is available in the East. If you are in the East, we tend to be prejudiced and not allow the non-Muslim contribution on Islam to be readily available. So we strike a balance between East and West and make use of both contributions from both sides of the world and make it available for the students.
Now, coming to the role that your organization is playing, as it is situated in Birmingham, and your website also has this section about interfaith harmony. There are a lot of movements going on in the world which focus on interfaith harmony, but there is something which I read on your website. It states that students from outside the UK or the EU are not allowed to get admitted in your institute. Doesn't it hamper the integration process?
First and foremost, as far as the interfaith effort is concerned, yes, even the lecturers within the Al-Mahdi Institute are not necessarily people who belong to Islam. They may be people who are coming from a hardcore secularist tradition, or maybe people of other faiths. We use them for their expertise. Now, the interfaith program at the Al-Mahdi Institute, we sit with the multi-faith community, and we also sit with people of no religious background in order to arrive at those common values that we all share. And this is a very enriching process in which we gain from each other's theology, each other's outlook.
It's a beneficial process. There are organizations in the world who are working on interfaith harmony and interfaith connections. But what about intersectarian relationships?
Yes.
There has been no work. I don't see any major work in this regard. And if we consider Islam, there are so many sectarian differences, and people are moving away from Islam due to these sectarian differences. But no work is being done in this regard. What is your take on that?
We have regular meetings with other sects of Islam, and we do not bar any sect. In fact, we attend, we ask for active participation from different sects of Islam, whether they are Shia, Sunni, Ismaili, Zaydi, Deobandi, Barelwi, Ahl Hadith, Salafi, whoever they are, in order to try and work towards that common ground of belief in Allah and His Tawheed, the Quran, the Prophet, and then to carry that forward to our own communities. Now you'll be surprised that when we have the Friday prayers, the interfaith community, on occasions we invite them and they all attend. Similarly, with the intrafaith project and the effort that we have in that on that side, we attend the mosques of our other Muslim brothers and they attend our mosque, and we share our thoughts at each other's congregations. So it has a positive impact in opening people's minds and allowing them to shed their biases, open up and look at the truth for what it is worth. Our concern through the interfaith dialogue has never been to convert anybody, has always been to learn about other faiths from people of those faiths and learn about our own faiths. And if there is an aspect of truth there, to accept it wholeheartedly without shunning it.
Okay, we'll take a very short break on this note. When we come back, we'll discuss Pakistan, its problems, and what religion has to offer Pakistan. Stay tuned. Welcome back. What I want to start off with is that there are people who say that religion is used by people for achieving their political means. Do you agree to that?
Largely this has been the case in the history of religions, that people have used religions to their own end, to achieve their own goals and objectives.
So this can
It's
be
undeniable.
It can be termed as a true statement.
To a great part.
In your opinion, what do you think? Religion and politics, do they go together, or they are something which needs to be separated?
Religious establishment and political establishment, in my opinion, after looking at the way the Muslims have been, should be separate entities, but they can have a very healthy relationship in which the political leaders and the political systems and the intellectuals can benefit from religious morals.
But why do you say that these two needs to be separated? Doesn't Islam has to offer anything to the politicians, or do you say that because the previous experience has not been good enough?
Islam offers us valuable insights in every aspect of human existence. It's the same as you asking me, does Islam have anything to offer to the scientific world? I will say yes. But that doesn't mean you Islamify the scientific world. Same with governance. Islam has a lot to offer, the prime example of the Prophet, but it doesn't mean that you have to make a political system Islamic. And of course, the huge problem that we have is, well, what is Islam in itself anyway? I, through my sectarian background, will interpret Islam with a bias. And of course, that sort of a bias cannot work for the human being at large, for they are different.
Is this
There
what
is
is happening in Iran?
variety and multiplicity.
Is this what is happening in Iran, in the Iranian model of government?
My take is that politics and political leaders, religion and religious leaders should not mix. But religion has a lot to offer. But governance of a country is something that has to be learned through experience and benefiting through others. For me, a system that is working for the betterment of human beings, catering for their needs, allowing them to grow as individuals and as a collective body, is a good system ordained by religion. And if in any future time, due to the globalization of our cultures, if it is felt that now a political or a social system is not as effective in ensuring growth, then by all means modify it and change it, and the new one that replaces it will be as Islamic as the former one.
Now, coming to Pakistan, a country which was actually created in the name of Islam, it is actually at par with, let's say, Israel, which was created in the name of a religion. So what is the solution to the problems of Pakistan in your opinion?
I think there is a mistake here. It may have been created in the name of Islam because the Muslims wish to reside in this part of the world or former Hindustan, not created in the name of Islam in the sense that Islam would rule, which would then presume that the founding fathers of this country knew what Islam required. At the most, what they understood of Islam was prayers, fasts, the laws of inheritance, and capital punishment. Where was an elaborate understanding of Islamic economics, Islamic politics, or Islamic society?
But this understanding can later be developed when the country is there. Can't you just move ahead and develop this sort of an understanding and implement these things?
Yes, that is true. So there we would have to then refer to the principles of the primary Islamic sources and develop what we call is an Islamic state. Its economy is Islamic, its politics is Islamic, its social system is Islamic. But there you will find that there is no chapter in the Quran termed as Islamic economics, or in the hadith of the Prophet that particularly says Islamic economics. And economical models will change as the societies grow and they interact with other nations and it becomes a global village. So when we say Islamic economics, what are we saying? We are talking about economists applying the human moral principles of religion to their understanding of economics. In that way, yes, it is Islamic. But otherwise, to say that everything is coming from Islamic literature, every single clause of our economical sort of policy or political constitution would be very naive.
Historically, if we look at the Islamic governments, the era of the caliphs and the era of Hazrat Ali and the Fatimid Caliphate and all, can they be termed an Islamic governments?
You see, in the time of the Prophet, it was a very simple community that was evolving, and they did not need so many regulations and rules. But when you come to the Fatimid era, you will see a lot of sophistication. There is now influx of teachings from other parts of the world as the Islamic empire is expanding. The one beautiful thing that the Muslims had at that point was that they did not have such a rigid, fixed identity about themselves, and hence they were benefiting from other cultures, the learnings from other parts of the world that they were conquering or they were associating with. It was a very flexible type of a state that they had. I mean, I'm talking about state of mind as well. But of course, the primary principles of morality were there, governing them, and the acts of worship were there. Yes? But apart from that, they were gaining, they were understanding, they were innovating, and they were experimenting. And that's how it came forward.
So do you think that the key lies in being flexible?
The key lies in upholding those very fundamental tenets of righteousness. Proper distribution of money, proper representation of people, a society in which there is a balanced fulfillment of the needs of the people, in which there is a good education system and people's primary needs are fulfilled. when we can uphold those principles of righteousness, justice and fairness, then the human mind can be, or can take the rein and experiment, examine and move forward. And you are right, we need this state of flexibility.
Thanks a lot, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.